And so I've been trying to read it on my phone. I wish I had print copy because it's, it's, Pierre kind of outlined it, but it's really the 900-pound gorilla in the room. The lady from Danbury. Everything's on the table right now. Depending on what happens with this bill, what we're thinking now as our needs with the architectural study could be drastically different if this legislation passes. And I keep hearing 4 years out, it's 4 years out. Well, we can't be in limbo for 4 years out. We're going to have to do, I believe, this is my opinion, this is not the board, I believe something's got to give. And I don't know that our parents and taxpayers really understand the potential scope. It would be crazy for us to make a decision and move in a direction, rearranging the chairs on the deck, so to speak, to find out that we're on the Titanic. If we made a decision on building a new school, figuring that we could use Bristol Hebron and we could shift some things around, what we need to build, where we need to build it, what grades we need to build it for, could be out the door. And we'd be making a big financial mistake to act without knowing what's happening in this bill. And when I read this bill, it talks about those three communities having a vote on whether they support this concept. And I don't see how they can pass a bill that there hasn't been input from the three communities. They're the only ones that get input, those three communities. And this seems to be talking about them having it at next month. I don't know if those three towns have it on their town warrant to vote on. If they vote on it, according to the language I'm reading, July 1st of the next year, it would take effect. And immediately, when three of them voted, let's do it, they start forming their structure, their school structure. And how do we move forward? I think a lot of people are assuming that we'll tuition their kids and we'll tuition our kids and nothing will change except the tax rate. Their taxes will go down and the other towns' taxes will go up. So I almost think that this board has to give an indication of what will happen if this moves forward, if those three towns saying we are withdrawing. From what I hear, it appears that they're interested, from the public hearing that Pierre attended, that their game plan is to have through 8th grade at Bristol, at Bridgewater Hebron, and then tuition their high school kids, and contract with our SAU to run their SAU. So, and nobody has real numbers. They don't know what the fiscal impact, and I think we almost have to have those before these towns take a vote. And if they don't take a vote next month, I don't see where we can hang in limbo for another year on what we can move forward with as far as what needs to be done. I think Bristol Elementary School, something has to happen, either a new school or a major renovation, and it totally ties up our hands. And it's very unfortunate that this is happening, and I don't know who's giving them facts and figures and numbers. It's almost like a them versus us feeling. And they tried it with changing the formula on payment, and they failed at that, and now this is kind of another way they're going to try to, I don't know. I understand that some people want to do something, but I think probably a lot of people in those three towns don't have a clue. So
they don't have a clue because they weren't involved from the beginning.
From the beginning,
yeah. And when I look at this legislation, I've had a little bit of experience with legislation. The chair and the vice chair of the education committee that this bill is before are the sponsors of the bill. So it's going to get some serious consideration. I mean, when I first heard about it, my thought was, it ain't going anywhere. Well, They turned the people out at the public hearing the other day. They seemed to express they wanted to have more input into the budget. They have input because they have members from each of those communities sitting on the budget committee and sitting on the school board. So how much more input do they want? And they're talking about having through 8th grade at their school. So
the architectural committee, I haven't heard say it's crazy to keep moving forward. What we've been saying is we have different scenarios that we want to incorporate that could be the case, and it's important again to know the facts about what that would actually impact for the building committee. And we also, by the way, have to figure out, what might happen with Hill, which is a whole nother factor. Then we're considering all those scenarios as we work it through. And unfortunately, when you do things like this, you have to sometimes work with what you have, for the information that we have, and that's what we're doing.